Hello, everybody. Welcome to Libertarian Front. I'm your host, Joe Pometto. Here on this channel, we look at libertarianism and we look at politics through the views of being a libertarian. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, study comparative politics and world politics. I also have a law degree from the University of Duquesne and practiced law for 10 years. So I wanted to make a channel where I talk about politics in my particular brand of politics, and this is it. So thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's a free way to support the show. Really trying to get subscribers right now. So today I want to talk about where are the libertarians? Where are the libertarians hiding in the upcoming 2024 election? I keep wanting to say 2025. The year just changed and I'm thinking a year ahead. So where are the libertarians hiding? And I recently watched a piece about the Republican presidential debate between Governor DeSantis and Governor Nikki Haley, ex-ambassador to the United Nations. And, I'm thinking to myself, Nikki Haley is second to Donald Trump right now, which I find a little interesting. And I was wondering, well, who are those people? But also, who are the people supporting her? But also, where's the libertarian support? So we're going to take a look at some recent polls. This one here, this is from realclearpolitics.com. This 2024 Iowa Republican Presidential Caucus over here on the right. Sorry, I don't have a great marker or pointer to highlight this. And in the 2024 Iowa Republican Presidential Caucus, 52% Donald Trump, 18.2% Nikki Haley, 15.6% Ron DeSantis, 6.8% Vivek Ramaswamy, and this other percentage is others. So where are the libertarians in this poll, the Republican libertarians? I think they're right here in the 52% with Donald Trump. And I think many people would agree with me, at least those who follow politics closely. Going back to 2008, 2006, we had sort of the Ron Paul revolution, which was a bit of an awakening for libertarians. And then you have the Tea Party, which was a strain of the Republican Party, which was very anti-taxation. And, later on, Rand Paul becomes a senator. But I think Donald Trump ended up capturing some of the energy. People vote for Donald Trump for a lot of reasons. But I think he captured probably a lot of the libertarian energy that kind of started in the early to mid 2000s. Remember, libertarians are anti-interventionists. So part of that, part of the shift, sort of this shift in politics, I think that we've seen in the last 20 years, was opposition to the Iraq War. And the Republican opposition to the Iraq War, because obviously we had a Republican president at the time, and most of the opposition came from the Democrats. But I think there was conservative or more right-leaning, or at least freedom-leaning people who were also opposed. So I think in this 52% here, there's a lot of libertarians hiding. 18.2% Nikki Haley, 15.6% Ron DeSantis. I think that the 15.6% for Ron DeSantis are the people are kind of very strong conservatives who like Donald Trump's policies but don't like Donald Trump and see him as a viable alternative who would carry the torch for Donald Trump but is not Donald Trump. But, it's like Coke and Diet Coke. I'm not the first to use this analogy in this situation. Donald Trump's like regular Coke and Ron DeSantis is like Diet Coke or Coke Light. I think that's what that 15.6% Republican Party is. And then the 18.2% are the people who don't like Donald Trump, the people who are Haley supporters, who consider themselves conservatives, but they don't like Donald Trump, and they don't like or they disagree with many of his policies. These are kind of probably your traditional establishment Republican neocons, going back to the George Bush era, probably those Republicans. And you have 6.8% with Ramaswamy. I bet there's some libertarians hiding in there because he's young, he's a bit wild. I don't know why, but he's willing to take a lot of policies to the extreme. But he's very much for, I think, getting rid of a lot of unnecessary government. And so I think there's some libertarians hiding in Donald Trump's electorate and in Ramaswamy's electorate. Now, another interesting thing over here is the New Hampshire Republican primary, and New Hampshire was always considered a libertarian state, right? Live free or die. Strong gun rights. But look here, Donald Trump 43%, Nikki Haley 29.3%, and if you jump over to the middle, the South Carolina Republican primary, Haley's is stronger in New Hampshire than she is in South Carolina, her own state, where she was governor. So it's interesting. Maybe there is some libertarians hiding in Nikki Haley's back pocket. I'm not so sure about that. I think these are just left-leaning Republicans. And I think New Hampshire is just a sort of right-leaning Democratic state. It's a blue state, and I think it's pretty blue state. And you have some people who lean a little bit to the right, and you got this 29.3% Haley. I think they're more like liberal Republicans who are supporting her rather than the other alternatives here, DeSantis or Christie. These polls are a little bit old. Christie's out, so we have to see the new round of polling. So I think you have a good deal of libertarians hiding in, again, Donald Trump's electorate and probably a little bit of Ramaswamy's. So where else are they? Where else are they hiding? So this is an old poll, but if you read at the top, if the election for president were being held today and the candidates were Joe Biden, the Democrat, Donald Trump, the Republican, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. running as an independent, Cornel West running as an independent, and Jill Stein, the Green Party, for whom would you vote? And come down here, the total: Joe Biden 35, Donald Trump 38, Robert Kennedy 17. West 3, Stein 3. So Stein is extreme left wing, right? The Green Party. West is also maybe a different brand of extreme left wing. Joe Biden, standard Democrat. Trump, now standard Republican. 17% for Robert Kennedy. And then if you scroll over here, another interesting thing about this poll, which I wouldn't have thought, is Trump has 84 for Republicans and Biden has 1, but Biden has 77 for Democrats and Trump has 3. So Trump literally polls better with Democrats than Biden does with Republicans, which is a little bit interesting to me because Democrats seem to be so turned off by Donald Trump. I wouldn't think that he would even grab a 3, especially when Biden only gets a 1 in the Republican category. Anyway, scroll over here to independents. Now, independents, interesting here, 29% for Biden, 25 for Trump, 30 for Kennedy. So I think right here, you've got a bunch of libertarians hiding here. Now, Kennedy, everybody is going to automatically associate that name with the Democratic Party, and rightfully so. But I believe once people get to hear him speak in the debates and he has a more national platform, which is coming in the general election, I think this is going to grow. And they're saying right now that he is pulling from both of them equally. And, it says here 12% Democrat, 12% Republican. That appears to be true. That may change once he voices his opinions. But I really don't know how it would. I don't know which way it would go because he's kind of libertarian and he shares certain themes, at least that the new right wing likes and which libertarians like, such as, pushing back very hard in support of freedom of speech and anti-censorship. Also, privacy rights in regards to vaccines. Those are things that run through with Republicans. that he is very, very strong on. Whereas, he holds, I believe, a lot of classical Democratic views. So he's kind of like, he's almost a Kennedy Democrat. But that's pretty different from what a Democrat is today in the party of Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So it will be fascinating to see how much he pulls. I have to tell you, one of the things that I like most about his message is I believe he brings a message of unity. And so once we get to see his message and hear him speak, you will see that. But I think it's a genuine call for unity. Unlike a call for unity that really a Democrat or a Republican could make at this point, because those brands are both, in my opinion, they're both very, very tarnished and searching right now. So I think you find a lot of Democrat or libertarians hiding in the Republican Party or outside of it as independents, and then a small percentage inside the Democratic Party. But if that was a unified bloc, and you see it right here with the independents, and Kennedy's already at 17, if he siphons off more libertarian support from the Republicans and a little bit more from the Democrats, he's a viable third party candidate or an independent candidate. He's viable right in the 30s. I mean, 33. If you take 3%, let's say you take 4 percentage points from Donald Trump, that puts him at 21, and 4 from Joe Biden, that puts him at 25. And let's say you take West and Stein out. Okay, Biden's below 30. And Trump's right above 30. That puts Kennedy in there, almost 1/3 of the electorate. So I think Bobby Kennedy Jr. is gonna really turn some heads. He's gonna cause some waves, and I think he has a chance of unifying a libertarian ticket like it hasn't been done before. Now, in many ways, I think he's very big government. One thing I liked about him is, he sort of he was environmentalist, but he sought a lot of his changes, helping to sort of clean up the Hudson River through lawsuits, which is more of a libertarian way of dealing with disputes rather than the government. Now he had to rely on legislation and laws in order for those lawsuits to be activated, but rather than running to the government, he found people who suffered damages at the hand of polluters, and he represented those people who suffered those damages against the polluters, and through the judicial system was able to create some positive change, and instead of just writing laws and regulations. Regardless, it's going to be an interesting election, and I think Robert Kennedy is going to really turn some heads. And I think that's where a lot of libertarians are hiding. So we're going to talk some more about the candidates and about libertarianism, history of libertarianism. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Joe Palmetto. I am your host. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, and share. Trying to get more supporters to watch this channel. I think we need alternative voices outside of the blue and red binary that we are in. So support my channel if you feel the same way. Thank you very much.